My name is Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, and I was born on July 18, 1918 in Vizo, a small village in the Umtata district of South Africa. Throughout my life, I have been known for my fight against apartheid and for becoming the first black president of South Africa. This is the story of my life, a life dedicated to the fight for freedom, equality, and justice. I was born into a royal family of the Thembu people, part of the Xhosa ethnic group. My father, Gadla Henry Mfakani Iswa, was an advisor to the tribal chiefs. My mother, Nosikini Fanny, was the third of my father's 4 wives. From a young age, I was exposed to the traditions and cultures of my people, but also to the injustices of the colonial system. In 1939, I went to the University of Fort Hare, the only black university in South Africa at the time. It was here that I began to develop my political awareness and desire to fight racial oppression. However, my time at Fort Hare was short-lived, as I was expelled for participating in a student protest. After moving to Johannesburg in 1941, I worked in various jobs before completing my law studies by correspondence. In 1943, I joined the African National Congress, ANC, and, together with other young activists, founded the ANC Youth League, which aimed to radicalize the anti-apartheid movement. During the 1950s, I was involved in numerous civil disobedience campaigns and in the drafting of the Freedom Charter in 1955, which set out the vision of a free and democratic South Africa. In 1961, after years of violent repression by the government, I co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, the Spear of the Nation, the armed branch of the ANC, convinced that nonviolent resistance was no longer enough. In 1962, I was arrested and sentenced to 5 years in prison for leaving the country illegally and for inciting a strike. In 1964, during the Rivonia trial, I was sentenced to life in prison for sabotage and other charges. I spent 27 years in prison, most of them on Robben Island. During these years, I became a symbol of the fight against apartheid both inside and outside South Africa. I was released on February 11, 1990, at a time of political change driven by growing domestic and international pressures. Shortly after my release, I committed to negotiating the end of apartheid with the government of President F.W. de Klerk. In 1993, I received the Nobel Peace Prize along with de Klerk for our work in dismantling apartheid. In 1994, South Africa held its first multiracial elections, and I was elected the country's first black president. During my presidency, 1994 to 1999, I worked to promote national reconciliation, establish a new constitution, and address the economic and social inequalities inherited from apartheid. Although there were many challenges, I believe we managed to lay the foundation for a more just and equitable South Africa. After my retirement, I continue to be a prominent figure in the fight for social justice and human rights through the Nelson Mandela Foundation and other organizations. I have lived a life marked by struggle and sacrifice, but also by hope and resistance. I firmly believe that human dignity and equality are inalienable rights for all. Although the road to freedom and justice is long and arduous, my life is a testimony that change is possible when there is determination and an unwavering commitment to truth and reconciliation.